All right, guys. Copper Cutlass here. Thursday. Cheers. Uh, did some tuning today. I posted videos of the car at the track a couple weeks ago when we had some carburetor issues. So I did what most people do. You do your research. You talk to people you know. And I called a good friend of mine. I won't mention any names, but he's very knowledgeable with carburetors, and I'm very thankful that he's been as helpful as he has been. Even if has been over the phone, having some good guidance goes a long way. So I made some changes. I did my pre-rituals, check your timing, put a vacuum gauge on it, check your float levels, which my float levels were actually a little off. So after all that was done, I went ahead and I took his advice and I flipped the pink pump cam on the secondaries upside down. I'd already flipped the primary side upside down. That helped. So after that, I came back. I'm like, what can I change that's easy? So I went ahead and I changed the shooters, commonly known squirters. I went to 37s at 35s, and that made a world of difference. So we're in the right direction. I haven't done any jetting. I was a little pinched for time today, but I'm glad that the changes I made did help. So from here, I'm going to go to some jetting, and then hopefully hit the track in a couple of weeks. So now the other thing I wanted to talk about was a lot of people asked me about what's been done to the engine as I posted videos on Facebook and stuff like that of the car, the track. It's a pretty basic engine. It's built with a lot of leftovers, people's old parts, hand-me-downs. I'll get into that later. So basic, it's a 355 volts, 10 1/4 to 1 compression. It's got stock rod, stock crank, 30 over probe, 3cc valve relief pistons with the thin ring pack. It's got an old school, it works good, but it's an old school Kenny Bell oiling system, which I believe was engineered by Dave Smith, Dale Smith Engineering, whoever did that. Who did the parts for Buick, Kenny Bell, sold mainly Buick parts. So, and so that's pretty much the bottom end. It's got a Lunati solid lifter cam. It's a loose lash cam. It's hard to say, loose lash cam. It's an old Ultradyne grind. It's like a 555, 565 lift with like 241, 250, 245-ish duration, something like that. I don't remember exactly the specs. They're somewhere in my log. But and then the heads were ported by my good friend Dave Meyer, Cutlass Freak, aka The Freak. He did a ton of work to the cylinder heads. It's got 2-inch intake valves, 1.63 exhaust. Moving those valves is PRW stainless series Ford 1.6 rocker arms on 5/16 base 3/8 stud. And then for the timing chain, I got a Cloy's True double roller, not their cheap one, not their expensive one, right in the middle. It degraded pretty good, a little off, but managed. The intake is a Holley strip dominator, which was milled, welded a spacer on there to convert it from a spread bore to a square bore, and we got a Super Sucker spacer in there. Topping it off is a 750 HP carb, which I'm still working on. It's got an HEI ignition, Rob MC NASCAR style mechanical fuel pump, Blackjack ceramic coated headers, next pipe, turbo 350, 3500 stall, and 390 gears. So that's pretty much my basic combination. There's not too much fancy stuff going on. It's just a lot of horse trading, a lot of work. It kind of morphed into what it is. This was going to be a much more milder street motor, but it's actually pretty mild-mannered street motor as it is. It runs great. But the other thing I wanted to touch subject on, when I started on this build years ago, was budget build. So I got the short block from a member on ClassicOldsmobile.com. He couldn't sell it, or at least for the price he wanted, so he let me have it. At the time, I was that broke kid on the forums taking scraps, people's leftovers, anything I could build with. And I did that. And so that's how I ended up with this. And at the time, yeah, I was pretty damn broke. I just bought a house. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. And it took me like 2-3 years before I could even touch it. So I got that short block. And a couple years later, a guy I became friends with on, again, Classic Oldsmobile said, hey, I got some number 6 heads you might be interested in. You're a small block guy. So I got the number 6 heads, and then I became friends with David Meyer. And he's like, I'm going to do those heads for you. And I think he had ulterior motives there. He wanted me to do the body work on his car, we traded work, which is great. We became really good friends. Did the cylinder heads, and you know, did a ton of work. I learned a lot working with him on the cylinder heads, you know, and you know, he also did the work on the intake. Now the intake came from another Oldsmobile racer. Bought it used. And then, of course, some of the custom work was done by another Oldsmobile guy. Same guy who gave me the camshaft for this. I got the camshaft for some tasty beer. So I bought that. And then the carburetor and headers I got from a friend off of Facebook. He had the carb, which he ran on a small block, and the headers also they ran on a small block. That's where they came from. The valve covers, the Moroso tall covers that I absolutely love, came from another member on Classicals. I got them brand new in the box for 50 bucks. So you guys can see the theme here. I buy people's stuff that I can use at a reasonable price. I probably got about $4,500, a little under $5,000 tied up into this engine. I could call it a budget build because I think this engine would probably cost closer to $8,000 to build. You know, if you were to start from scratch. So that's pretty much the nitty gritty on it. I mean, there's not a whole lot fancy stuff going on. The car is relatively light, weighs about 3,400 with me in it, and it works good. The last engine ran 1220s. This ran a 1210 for the first time out. Obviously, it's not going to just run a 1210, where we should be able to get it in the 11s. Hopefully, I say that. But guys, that's it. If you got any other questions, I figure I'd kind of fill you in on the engine, some of its history, kind of the way I've built stuff over the years. My definition of budget might be different, but ultimately this was kind of a budget build. This is more of a budget race engine, I guess. So guys, again, if you guys got any questions, if you like something, share it. You know, got videos up there. We got stuff coming up. Got 350 on the stand. I gotta pick back up. I gotta get back on it. So that's gonna be coming up soon. Planning on doing something cool with that video wise. So follow us on Instagram, Copper Cutlass. Follow us on Facebook. Hit that like button. Don't just troll along there. So that's Copper's Garage. And of course, if you guys are watching this, you are already watching on YouTube. I am Copper Cutlass. Thanks for watching, guys.